All right, everybody, we are doing a team building guide for week 2 of the SPL, and I have a guest today. It's Josh Diamond, Diamond more than five, or is it diminutive?
I tried to rebrand to diminutive and it just everyone still calls me Diamond and that's just easier, so I'm probably rebranding back soon. So, yep.
Well, there we go. I'll have a link to your channel in the description of this video, but basically, I just
Sweet.
wanted to go through a little bit of a team building guide for week 2 of the SPL. We're gonna be going up against the Miami Palafins and Tone, and they have like a T-Tar Excadrill core. And so I was building some stuff. I've talked to you about some stuff, and I figured we might as well just build it together because you have a lot of insight that I greatly appreciate, and I feel like you keep me honest when I go a little bit too off the rails. That being said, I feel instead of like playing safe and playing, oh, I could set this speed control up and I could deny this. I feel like I just want to go balls out this week and just like blow up the other team because they don't have wide guard, right? I think that's the numero uno thing that I'm looking at here is like you can't stop me from doing all of my AoE. And I feel like when it comes to SPL teams, I have one of the biggest AoE teams, I feel, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so we have like Regidrago, Zorark, Terrakion, Evire has AoE options, Chandelure, Gliscor both have AoE options. Like we have a lot of cool stuff here. And so we really have to feel like what do we want to do to try and win versus a team like this in like a best of 3. And I've solidified that down into a game plan. I want to not lose the T-Tar Exegol. I don't want to get caught up in my opponent's tempo. I want to not lose to Follow Me TR if they're using like Hearthflame, Ogerpon, and Gardevoir. I think that's one of the ways that we lose. If they go Follow Me TR Gardevoir into the T-Tar, we will probably lose unless I'm bringing like more of my Imprisoned Trickrumons and Wartortle. And then I also don't want to lose to Volbeat because it is like a Tailwind prankster Tailwind Mom with like Encore and other weird stuff like that. So that being said, if you had to guess, what Mons do you think our opponent or my opponent is bringing to this round?
I feel like definitely T-Tar Excadrill,
Yep.
give the most offensive pressure.
And I feel like if
Gardevoir has
if they don't
to
bring T-Tar
come.
Exegol, also they lose. You know what I mean? So it's like it's one of those things we
Yes.
have to meet us at a
Yes.
specific level. Like if you don't have both of those combo, like if it's just the T-Tar, like I don't have to respect Sass Exegol. I just roll you over with Ready Draco. Sorry, I'll get back to it. I'll let you go back.
Oh yeah, that exactly leans into what I was saying. Just T-Tar, Excadrill, and Gardevoir are their ways to not just get rolled by Regidrago. So all of those have to come. Conversely, T-Tar, Excadrill really can struggle against a Terrakion, and their best answer to Terrakion, in my opinion, is the Keldeo.
Mm-hmm.
So those four I feel are coming for sure. And then Ogerpon for redirection and either Volbeat or Salamence at
That's
that
exactly
point.
what I think. What do we think is the percent chances of like Kilowattrel making an appearance?
It I thought about Kill the Watchful maybe making an appearance, but because your water type is a war turtle, I think they'll probably leave it on the bench in favor of a Volbeat or a Salamence.
Because what I was thinking was, what if it's like Scarf Excadrill and Sash Kilowattrel? That could be like,
Oh,
that would
wow.
suck,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
I
like
feel
use your
like they wouldn't
discharge.
see that
I don't
because
think
they're
so
so
either.
worried about Whimsicott setting up Tailwind, and so like
Hmm.
just a scarf without their own prankster Tailwind with Volbeat is just not the sauce against you.
Yeah.
Just on paper, looking at what your biggest threats are.
Okay. And so since we both agree that their 6 mons are going to be T-Tar, Excadrill, Gardevoir, Keldeo, Ogerpon, and probably Gardevoir. I think if you're using Gardevoir's the correct last pick, I would say. Otherwise, you have to go like 5 Terra Pheromones to not use the Drago, right? So
Oh yeah,
So that being said, what do we think their items are going to be? Obviously, Hearthflame Ogerpon is going to have that Hearthflame mask. But let's start with the T-Tar Excadrill. I think the standard items for those mons are probably going to be Sash Excadrill and AV T-Tar. And I don't
hmm
think those are bad here, but we got to remember this is he's a singles player, right? Those aren't
that's
standard
true.
like AV T-Tar is not like the sauce. It's more like you're either like a aggro T-Tar, and it really sucks we haven't really seen them play this team yet in the SPL, right? We haven't got to see any of how they like to play
Yeah,
it yet. So like
we have no info.
Banded T-Tar's good in singles, Life Orb T-Tar's good. I really don't know where they're gonna go with this T-Tar. I hope they don't set rocks on me. You know what I mean? Like that's where I'm thinking this might go. I would say that Sash Excadrill is still pretty common. I think a lot of people know that's how that works. Would you think they'd
Yeah.
be, I'm not gonna say new enough, but like What do you think the possibility of like Sash Excadrill Air Balloon T-Tar is?
That's not the craziest thing in the world, honestly, knowing that they're a singles player. Air Balloon
Yeah.
is way more used in singles than doubles,
That
so
would be
it's
bad
on the
for
forefront
that'd be
of their
bad against
mind.
us because we have like fake outs, feints. Like we have a million ways to stop that.
Yeah,
But I think Flying Terra is very common, going to be common on the T-Tar. I think Volbeat
agreed.
here. Volbeat would probably have a mental herb in this matchup, right? Because you want to be able to stagger the tailwind and then not get encore locked by my whims. So we can say that if it's Volbeat,
Yeah.
we shouldn't be respectful of Sash. It'd have to be mental herb.
Or just
Or
taunted by
cloak.
your
It could be cloak. It'd be
whims,
cloak.
honestly. So yeah,
Yeah, cloak.
it could be cloak
Yeah.
or mental herb.
I
would
could
both
see
be good.
Keldeo having some sort of choice item or a life orb. I played with a lot of Keldeo in singles. That's how I've always played that mon. I don't think we're gonna see like AV Keldeo. I guess I'm just trying to see like what sort of things could happen that would like absolutely stop us in our tracks. Not Terra wise, like item wise, like weird like AV stuff. Excadrill has a huge mungus base HP stat. Like AV Excadrill would actually be pretty good into my team with a like a water Terra. You know, I don't think they'll see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like Sash just probably makes
Mm-hmm.
more sense to them. And one thing, because I'm a VGC player, I'm
Yeah.
looking up right now. I just realized the base speed of Keldeo is a speed tie with Terrakion.
Yeah,
Is
so
that
I think a
is
lot
that
of them are
gonna
speed
make
ties.
things weird?
Nah, so I think like the way me and you were kind of looking at the matchup, right, was that we agree that like Whimsicott is very pivotal, and you had the great idea of Sunny
Yes.
Day, right? And I think Sunny Day does two things. First of all, it takes away the speed control from the T-Tar Excadrill, but second, it cuts the water value from the Keldeo into our Terrakion. So, and it lasts for
Absolutely.
5 turns as opposed to 3, like a Tailwind. So it's like a super Tailwind, and then we can still set Tailwind, and it can be used to enable other mons and stuff like that. So that
Oh
being
yeah.
said, I think that like Whimsicott Terrakion with like just popping a Sunny Day in front of Keldeo is fine. I also think like Keldeo is one of those mons that has a very, very limited move pool without Terra Blast. So as long as we're really like locked in, or I'm locked in when I'm playing and noticing like what its Terra is since it's open sheet to respect the Terra Blast, it might not be able to do that much because it's only ice coverage. It doesn't get Ice Beam. It gets Icy Wind.
And
So,
again, if they're burning their Terra to just not auto lose to Terrakion,
mhm.
then say a Scarf Regidrago in the back can win the game because they burnt their Terra and now what resists a dragon energy, basically.
Yeah. And so I want to talk a little bit about how I think we should be approaching this matchup before we really pick the mons. I really think
Okay.
that like a helping hand whims, I think I was talking about this a little bit before, just comes in and applies the right modifier to a bunch of our mons to win the game. I know you were talking about a Scarf Regidrago, and while I don't think that's bad, I do kind of like the ability to go like protect Regidrago next to a whims, and Regidrago's holding like a Dragon Fang with the Dragon Maw, and then
Okay.
go like double dip dragon after the tailwind helping hand melt. I'm not seeing that as being like
that.
terrible because like that's the thing that will OHKO the T-Tar if like the sand's not up, or that'll OHKO the Ogerpon even if they're full HP Spadef, or if the Keldeo is bulky, it's still gone. You know, stuff like that. Like I wonder how much damage that does to Excadrill. Let's actually just run that calc. So we got Regidrago, right? Let's just throw it like a regular one right here, and we got the Dragon Fang. You can see my page here, right?
Yes,
Okay,
I can.
cool. I was just curious. All right, so let's just plug that in right now. Let's double dip the dragon, set it to level 50, and then let's just plug in like an Excadrill. And then we'll add the multipliers on in just a sec. So set this level 50, so we got dragon energy. All right, so that doesn't even seem right. Doubles, there we go. Okay, so like that's a lot, and that's from a double dip Dragon Terra. If we take that out and just take a look at like helping hand here, that's already a lot. And then if we were to double dip the Terra, even like a timid one, they're dead, right? So if there's some sort of weird Excadrill, they're just gone, right? That being said, if we took out the Dragon's Fang, we could still almost get that if we wanted to be some sort of like Scarf Modest set, 101. That's nuts, you know? Right? So I think that that's probably enough right there. Like that's actually kind of nice. Because I was thinking I'd like to go timid if we could, just because I'd like to be able to outspeed like Adam and Excadrill. Like if you can force your opponent into having to go like jolly and timid on mons that are their sweepers, you can get yourself out of like weird EV pins, right? Do you see what I mean? Yeah, right. So it's like if I can get you to have to be, it's exactly what I did in what is it, the UMPL last week, where I was like, okay, if you want to be adamant, Roaring Moon, you can have these KOs on these Mons, but you can't outspeed my Zoroark, which is my win con, right? So
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
it's exactly like that. Yeah. So I think we should be able to get something going like that. Let's talk about some Mons that like I could be bringing to this matchup. Obviously, Whimsicott Terrakion are going to be here for me. And this is obviously going to go live after week 1. So like Terrakion is the kill leader in the whole league right now. I have the most kills on one Mon.
Insane.
Yeah.
I love it.
So like I want to like keep that up, and like even if I lose, I want to try and like go for the like.
We want to be the kill leader of the league.
Yeah, but at the same time, does it count if I kill my own Mons? Because like, do I get points for that?
That I do not know.
I think I should.
I'm trying to think what they did in Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, because like I'm about to put Earthquake on my Terrakion and just KO everybody. I'm about to get like 14 KOs in 2 games, you know? No, let me think about this. We obviously think like Whimsicott and Terrakion are going to be coming. We talked about Regidrago. I don't think I need Jirachi in this matchup. I feel like Jirachi's the perfect Pokemon for our team, but we haven't needed it yet. You know, I brought it last week. It wasn't that important. Weavile, I think, could make an appearance, but if I'm losing, Weavile's not going to help, you know? So I think Evire would be a better one than Weavile, so I think Evire is good. And then we talked a little bit about like Evire and Gliscor. I think Gliscor is really good here. It gets things like Sandveil. It gets things like Hypercutter. Not that you really need Hypercutter. I think Sandveil is the right ability in this matchup over the Toxic one. I think that's just my opinion.
Yeah,
you might as well go.
Toxic one.
Yeah,
definitely is like a slower paced, and your team is obviously quite fast paced. So
the only thing that I could see the value on the Gliscor being is like, let's say I go for like a really, really aggressive play, like turn 1 with like a Whims Terrakion or Whims Zoroark, and like maybe I get like a 1 KO, but like one of my mons is really weak. Like let's say, for example, like I lead Whimsicott Terrakion, and I go turn 1, Ground Terra, Earthquake Terrakion, double KO, right? And then they send in like Kilowattrel or Salamence, I have to pivot, like against Salamence, right? If I wanted to pivot to Gliscor, if I had like a Toxic Orb Gliscor, I could pivot in, soak damage from like a full bulk Gliscor, get that Toxic Orb, and then just like basically let Gliscor chill until like it's time for Terrakion to come back in, protect Terrakion, or do whatever I want, just reset Tailwind and win there, you know, secondary Tailwind setter type thing.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's an option, I think.
That is an option.
And I wonder how much Tone is going to be using Protect on this team. I think that's like a pretty nuanced thing. I know like Kyle I played last week was actually really good at using Protect for a singles player. They used a lot of the right protects. They knew when to double protect too, like when the whole match was on the line. So I wonder if that's just like the level of player being good. Because like from historically, newer singles players to VGC don't know how to protect, you know?
Yes.
They either do it too much or they just don't. And we don't know what type of player Tone is yet. So I think Feint is still an option, but more so Feint for like breaking sashes and like setting the precedent of the tempo that we want to be playing. But at the same time, we don't want to get caught in encores from like Volbeat. I think the Volbeat's still going to come. I also, one last thing before I actually get into the building, I watched the draft reveal for everyone's team. Did you see that?
I got through the first round of everybody, and then you called me.
Yeah,
so
sorry.
I'll watch it after.
Yeah, so
no, you're good.
When they talked about Tone's team, they said like no one's outspeeding Tone. He has Sand and Volbeat, and I was like, I'm right here, bro. Like I have
Whimsicott's right here.
Like I have Regidrago, Weavile, Zoroark, Terrakion. Like I am not going second. Like it's cool. I could just taunt that Volbeat, you know. All right, so let's talk about like getting some mons on paper. Obviously, with the Whimsicott right here, we're gonna add the Terrakion. Terrakion right there, and then we were talking about. I think I'm gonna put Zoroark on there. I think Zoroark should definitely be coming because, especially against these players that are newer to VGC. It worked really, really good against Kyle, right? That's all I can say. Like it was just one of those situations where, if you want to go with redirecting with the Ogerpon to stop my beat up strat, you get Hyper Voiced. And if you get Hyper Voiced on like Ogerpon and Keldeo, I win the game with any of these other Earthquake mons that we're talking about using, whether it being Electivire, Gliscor, or Terrakion. Or you lose the Drago, right? If we hit you once, you lose the game, right?
And and I've seen the way that singles players prep, and like Zoroark gets in their head so much in singles drafts. So like even if it's not one of your main plans or a plan at all, the bench pressure that Zoroark is exuding is incredible. They're
And
just like, I feel like just Zoroark in the team preview will probably condition them to lead T-Tar because they feel like they have to have a dark type on the field at all times.
that's really nice. Right?
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And you outspeed. Oh,
Yeah, that's it, right? Am I
that
wrong?
is,
That's actually kind of cool, right? So
that
for
is
Keldeo,
cool.
right?
I love
That's
that.
cool. So those, and then we know we want like Gliscor. Um and I think that again, I think Electivire is still a good mon to have in the back, and then Regidrago, right? Cool. So let's start just running a couple small calcs that I was looking at here. I want to take a look at Terrakion. So Terrakion. And one cool thing about, like, we want to talk about, like, not losing to these things. I want, like, 1 or 2 options to not lose to these things. Because, like, it's funny. People think you have to, like, win every possible game of Pokemon that's ever existed to be better than an opponent. I only have to win 2 games before I lose 3 games. You know? And, like, if I won 2 games before I lose 3 games and then I lost 30 games, no one would ever know because I already won the set. Right? So we don't have to, like, perfect everything. We have to just find a way that will always win 2 games. All right, so let's take a look at this calc. So I want to take a look at like Terrakion versus Tyranitar, right? Because I think they're probably going to go some sort of weird Terra on the T-Tar. I do. I think they're going to be flying Terra, but if they're flying Terra, we win with Rock Slide, right? T-Tar doesn't even really threaten us because like T-Tar doesn't even get like superpower anymore. It gets like low kick, right? So we're not really that afraid of it. I'm just trying to think. If I put like Earthquake here, and let's see what, I don't know if I need like full attack yet, but that's obviously not KOing the T-Tar. But then if I were to double dip ground right there, see that? Goes woo right there.
Yo.
That's against a sweeper T-Tar, which again, they might have a sweeper T-Tar.
They might have
right?
a sweeper T-Tar.
And so like if we know that there's some sort of like weird life orb T-Tar, we can just go, we'll full send that, right? But like let's see if they're like, let's just give them 252 in HP for now. That's keeping them out of range. But then like if we go like adamant, we can still almost get it. Looks like it's not going to get it. Let's see what happens if we put like a choice band on it. So that's a freaking unlimited amount of damage if I want to commit the Terra. That's so big. And I'm still jolly, you know?
Yeah.
Right? So that's
what
I was kind of thinking, like, if I want to do something like that, that's with the helping hand and the choice band. But
well, and if we're worried about like, I don't know, you already have the helping hand there, like, but
yeah.
if we need a beat up calc, we can factor for that too, you know.
Well, that's the thing. I'm actually thinking about like the whim set, right?
Going beat up lists and
I'm
just
going beat up
helping
list.
hand
Yeah,
it?
so
Okay.
yeah, so like that's the thing. I was like, I want to help these guys. So I don't even know if I need protect. Like, let's just look at Tailwind here. So like Tailwind's good, Sunny Day's good. And then because they're gonna think like, okay, if they see one of these, they're not gonna think we have all the other tools, right? And then we have like the helping hand. And I'm gonna put Dazzling Gleam here because I want to be able to break Sash on either the guard or other stuff like that.
Or like an Xka.
Yeah,
like
that's where I'm thinking, like a Kilowattrel, all those other like little things, right?
So what item are you thinking for whims? Like Sash Sunny Day to just like you Sunny Day in the face of an Xka, tank an Iron Head, and then you can Tailwind turn 2?
I was thinking about that. Like, I don't think what I would want to do with Sash Whims would then make sure that we would be able to live through like double Rock Slide from T-Tar Excadrill. That's what I would like, wanted to live. So like, I'd have to still put probably some points if I wanted to, if they were like respecting like a Life Orb or Banded set in HP. But at the same time, like I feel like there might be like I was almost even looking at like Air Balloon, like just a really weird like they're like I gotta hit that with a weird move now. You know what I mean? Something really weird. I was looking at Sash on like Zork or something, but yeah, it's probably gonna be Sash here. Let's just be realistic. It's probably gonna be Sash there, right? If we're Sash there, I think this guy always gets to use a second move. And so I like this. I think that we can also go with, I just want to check one more thing on the damage calculator. Let's see if we take out the helping hand. It does 85. Because like in turn 1 against the T-Tar, I'd have to be Sunny Daying, right?
Yeah, you would want a Sunny Day.
So then let's take a look if we take out the choice band and give ourselves a Life Orb and then put the helping hand back. That's still enough. So then we might have to orb the Terrakion.
Okay.
Right? That way we can actually go turn one. Turn one we would Sunny Day, not Tailwind, right? If they lead T-Tar Exodrill, right? And protect.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of a situation in which that loses the game. The only one would be they pivot in Volbeat and read that. And then they Encore lock us. Because we don't have taunt. That's bad. Maybe I'm getting too ahead of myself. I don't think they'll make that play. I don't think you pivot in Volbeat on Whimsicott Terrakion. I don't think you have the balls for that. Right? You know what I mean?
I agree. I feel like either they're leading Volbeat or it's not pivoting in, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Like either it's a turn one Volbeat or nothing.
And so anyways, let's talk about let's flowchart this lead, right? So we would lead Whimsicott Terrakion and go turn one, Sunny Day, Protect, right? Into turn two, Helping Hand, or Dazzling Gleam. Like if we're afraid of the Sash, if we know that it's Sash, like we can use this in game one or game two, that would still KO the Exodrill. And then the T-Tar is going to take like 20-ish% from the Sash, right? Or sorry, from the Dazzling
Is there
Gleam.
any reason we can't just fire off a move on turn one, assuming they lead T-Tar Excadrill?
The only thing I'm worried about is banded Exodrill, just like Iron Heading our Terrakion. Even if we have like a neutral Terra like this, we could die.
Well, because you'll be faster with when Sunny Day goes up, is my point.
Though, but we won't kill the T-Tar without the Helping Hand, is my thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm trying to play around Sash Exodrill. That's why I was thinking like we can go turn two with like, all those plays.
Gleam.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Right, that's kind of where I was looking with this. And that should be enough to KO all their Mons. And they're going to be respecting more Rock Slide than they are going to be Earthquake. So like they wouldn't Flying Terra, right? They wouldn't. They would probably
I don't think they would.
And so I
feel like they would Ghost Terra or something.
Something like that. I want to run Whimsicott here. Whimsicott versus I'll just plug in for the set. I want to see how much damage the Deep Gloom does to T-Tar.
Right?
It is Open Terra, yeah, so I can see that.
Yeah.
Tyranitar. So let's just plug in the 250. Let's set it to level 50. Give ourselves 252. Let's say the sun is up and we have Dazzling Gleam. Oh, that's more than enough. So this 34% plus the 72, they're dead. They can even have like points and other stats too, and they're probably still gone, right? So check,
done and done.
I mean, we got it, right? So that would be a line into that. Last move here.
Are we worried about Whims dropping on turn one, or do you think they would be too scared?
So that's my thought. If I Sunny Day, and that's where I was kind of going with this. So let's talk about where this goes. If I do turn one, they drop the Whims, right? And the Sunny Day's up. I don't think they live the Terrakion Drago play, the Rock Slide plus Dragon Energy.
Okay.
Right? I don't think, unless and if they Fairy Terra, like, I think the Terrakion could, like, kill it. You know what I mean? And if I know that they're Fairy Terra, I can bring out the Gliss. So that means that our 4 for that matchup would have to be Whims, Terrakion, Regidrago, Gliss.
Yep. And that lets you bring Gliss in next to an EQ whenever needed.
Right. So this might be, like, for a game 1 or, like, game 2, like, that's our flow chart for that, right?
Yeah.
And this also would help against Gardevoir. And I think also as well, the Terrakion being able to just like blow up everything. Like I think Gardevoir, let's just run the calc, right? Terrakion versus Gardevoir. You like the D? I like the D Gleam here. I think it's actually like pretty sick, right? That's a lot of damage. So 81% off just that. And we don't know what their set is, but if they're sashed, right? You know, it looks like it can't get that KO. Let's see what happens. Like, I wonder they wouldn't be sashed guard, right?
No, because they've got sand.
Yeah. Unless they're rock Terra. Oh, look at that. Bro, I'm down, right? I'm not wrong. They're not going to go like 252 HP defense guard. And if they do, like, what is our line to get out of that?
I mean, they wouldn't, right?
Well, let's also think about that. Like, let's say they did. Do we have a line with these Mons? Because like now I'm looking at it like I don't know if we need the Evire. It might be right to put like a Mon that can. It might be right to like put Jirachi and be able to trick room back.
So have like a Jirachi over Evire.
Mm-hmm.
Because in that instance, they're a max bulk Gardevoir. They're not putting on any offensive pressure,
You can just flip the Trick Room
and
back.
Gardevoir can't touch Jirachi.
Yeah. So let's think about how we're going to do that. Let's make this Jirachi. So, like, we can just Trick Room back. Maybe something like... Encore back, bro? That'd be sick, right? They're going to stay in and try and fight.
That's funny.
I'm actually like low-key looking at that.
What are their slowest guys are?
They have T-Tar.
It's just T-Tar.
Yeah, it's T-Tar guard.
Yeah. Trick Room mode.
Yeah, and then like full bulk Ogerpon, you know?
Yeah.
So let's see. Maybe there's something there. This is going to sound really... I almost don't want Tailwind on my whims, but I have to lead it in case they go Volbeat. I think the Helping Hand's the right play, though. I'm not wrong, right? We think that that's the right way to do it.
Yeah, after seeing those calcs, I think Helping Hand's definitely correct.
I don't hate this if this is the role of this Pokemon.
Same, and I think if you have dual stab in the last 2 slots, that lets you hit T-Tar, that lets you hit Keldeo.
Maybe make this a flying Terra, just because like T-Tar Excadrill is like a thing. Iron Head's good into a lot of those Mons. So what would be the last move on this Jirachi then?
Does it get any good psychic moves?
It gets Zen Headbutt, but we can go physical or special with Jirachi. This thing gets everything. It gets Meteor Beam. You're looking at psychic moves for Keldeo, basically.
Yeah, that's what I was...
That's freaking sick. U-turn's not bad. I know it's not like what you were looking for. Oh, we can just put like psychic on this thing. Like that's fine with me. Psychic hits. Psychic hits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So like psychic coverage and looking at like ground coverage maybe. It gets Fire Punch.
I just think for what it's doing, I think Steel is still good. You honestly don't need... If anything, I would drop the Psychic and,
what if, like,
put Iron Head.
Yeah. I think something like... There's something there, right? I like the Encore, the slow Encore back. I actually really like that. So let's think about what else we'd want to do. Because like I like the room service here too, because if you do get the Trick Room up, I can just bully your T-Tar. That's why I have this. In case like I'm like, okay, like I'll bully your guard or your T-Tar. You know, come at me. Exactly. So like what I'm thinking myself about doing is like opening up with like the Wimps Terrakion, and maybe like in game 1 I bring the Jirachi instead of the Gliss. Or sorry, no, in game 1 I bring the Gliss, and if they're actually good and they go with like all the Trick Room things from there, then we go Jirachi in game 2, right?
Okay.
Right. Yep. So I like that. Plus, I think like we should be using Jirachi in every single matchup and then not showing what the heck it does. You know, maybe they'll watch this video, right? So yeah, I like this a lot. And then so we have those Mons. We have this one. I was gonna say I don't hate close combat here. I used Sacred Sword last week because there were situations which I didn't want to die, but I think we're going to be mostly full sweeper, and I would like look at this calc here. So Terrakion with the close combat here. All right, against Ogerpon. I think they just die. Like I think they're actually just super gone, like super gone. Versus like Sacred Sword, and so you see what I mean?
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
And so I really like that. Right. I can just be like, no, stop it. Right. Right. Would you agree that close combat's probably better this week?
I think so. Yeah. Just we're trying to delete button things, trade heavy.
Yeah. And so I like that a lot. Zoroark. So I think that the Psychic here is good. I'm low-key thinking about... I was going to Sash this guy or Orbit, and so now it sucks that both those items are gone. I don't really mind spexing it, but at the same time, I was looking at, like, fighting Terra Zoroark, and so I want to run some Zoroark calcs. Because if that T-Tar is some sort of set that, like, we can just kind of cheese it, I can come in with a Mon that, like, pins the Excadrill a little bit, and then just, like, take out the T-Tar, and then not have to care about the matchup anymore, right? Just come in with Drago and two-shot it or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So I was looking at Tyranitar here. So Tyranitar, Okay, so Sand's up for that. Let's go Terrablast. So the cool thing about Zoroark is it just stabs Terrablast normally, right? So it's not like it's really even that important. And let's set these the correct levels. I'm doing something incorrect. Because that should be doing more than that. Am I wrong? What am I doing wrong? Oh, I gotta click the button, duh. There we go, 153. There we go. So if they're 252 HP and they're holding an Assault Vest, they can live. And so what I was thinking about doing was maybe with this Zoroark, I kind of wanted to make it a King's Rock set, if I'm being honest. I thought about that. Because like having the Fling King's Rock makes it so like I can probably just like fling against like one of these things that's problematic. But at the same time, what if we did something like that? Expert Belt. Because like,
I like
that lets you kill the Keldeo too, remember? You needed a little bit of damage, remember?
Yeah, if he's got a little bulk, then that lets you get the Keldeo, that lets you get the T-Tar.
Well, no, the Keldeo lived just in general, right? And so like, it did, right? So if you see 98.
Yeah, there you go.
I think that's like pretty sick, you know? Right? I think that's like really rad. And then so we'd want Terrablast, Psychic, and then like you got to still have the Hyper Voice, right? And I'm not a big like Protect Zoroark guy, so I don't know how if I would ever use it. You know, I'm looking at Icy Wind. I'm looking at Shadow Ball. Taunt's not bad, honestly. U-turn is sometimes usable. What do you think? Burning Jealousy is good actually in some situations, just for AoE fire. I feel like we're not going to use Zoroark. Like it's there to mess up their game plan, and if we lose game 1 to Keldeo.
I like what it does to T-Tar and Keldeo in a pinch. Like it's a good secondary game plan. I'm just trying to think what the last move should be. Like you have everything. Just protect, I guess.
Hold on, look at this. Look at this calc right here. All right, so we have Excadrill, right? Burning Jealousy, right? And then that feels like that should be doing more. I'm a T-Tar.
Oh,
I hate this.
Jealousy T-Tar.
Yeah, that'd be kind of nice though. I was like, where's my Zoroark set? I was like, all right, so yeah, 252 Burning Jealousy, right? And then we put our Extra Build on. Right, so that's decent, right? But then that's not enough. That's almost something, though.
It's almost. It doesn't get Heat Wave, right? Just Flamethrower?
No, it gets just Flamethrower. You could put I think Shadow Ball's probably fine.
Oh, Shadow Ball gets Guard.
Yeah, that's where I'm looking at.
We're just bad.
No. I thought about that the whole time. But like, I don't know if they're ever gonna let me get that. I don't know if they're gonna let me have that. You know. So I think this is a fine set. Oh wait,
doubtful, but again, it could be a good conditioning game 2, game 3 play.
Yeah, I feel like again, this is the thing that we're doing, right? And the last thing that well, let's finish up the rest of these mons, and then we'll talk about how we not lose to a couple of these things, right? Gliscor, right? I think that Sandvale is good. I don't mind the Bright Part of Sandvale here, right?
Don't mind at all.
That's if we're losing, like that's how we're losing. So just do it, right? I think that Feint is good here, so I'm gonna put Feint there. I don't mind Protect. We're gonna have that there for now. We're gonna have Earthquake for the time being, just because there's 2 big things to hit. Maybe like you could. I guess we could just go High Horsepower. Do you like that better?
Yeah, I think I like High Horsepower
because we die. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, one of the cool techs I want to actually use sometime is Terrakion Gliscor with Scarf Gliscor Bulldoze into Covert Cloak Terrakion, get the stat drop on both and kill them.
Yeah, that's really
cool. I'm saving that one. That's a saver.
Future tech.
And so if this is what we have to hit here, we need to be able to hit Salamence, I think. And so, like, I'm actually looking at this. Like, you have Kilobotriel and Salamence, the only two other mons. Right, you hit this. This hits everything
Okay,
else,
yeah,
right? I
I
hate
see.
being that guy, but like, let's run the calcs,
No, that's draft.
Yeah, like, so Gliscor versus Sally, and we're not going to take Intimidate into it, or maybe we should. Doesn't really matter. They should give Gliscor. I mean, look at that damage, like neutral, like straight up,
Right.
So you're
you
dead,
go.
like just straight up dunzoed. Let's do the Intimidate. I mean, they can't do anything to us. Oh, we have Hyper Cutter on. So it's a 2-shot, like straight up 2-shot. I don't think that's even like bad. Like that's kind of what this guy needs to do, right?
Is it worth talking about Hypercutter just because they have
That's
Intimidate?
super fine with me. Yeah, I don't mind that. And then we could change our item to Citrus.
Works for me.
Yeah, that's super fine. Yep, very, very fine with that. The only thing is that if they Intimidate and they show that's if they lead Intimidate and then we can't disguise Zorak as Gliscor in any game. That's just a rule. Right?
That's true.
And then so we want this thing to outspeed a lot of their mons in Tailwind and like normal. So like I think it would be nice to outspeed stuff, but like let's see. The T-Tar was their only threat, right? And so maybe like T-Tar's 61 base speed, right? So like a 0 speed reduced T-Tar is 59, right? So Jirachi needs to just get to that slow. So like maybe we need to take some points out, I mean that would do it with the room service, wouldn't it?
Or we could there might be a way to just be a reduced nature.
There might be, yeah. I'm looking at it. Is there a button for Trick Room?
Huh. No. I do think if you click the drop down arrow next to speed and just put -1.
Yeah, that's dumb. All right, there you go.
That will be your...
So right there. We can't even underspeed 0 speed reduce T-Tar. But like why would they be? Other than to like piss us off.
Yeah, I don't see why they would be. I feel like because you've got a really fast team, so there's no way they'd be min speed, because they would, worst case scenario, be a speed that outspeeds one of your guys in Tailwind.
Yeah, you're right. They would be. Okay, so then let's just see how fast we want to be, while still underspeeding like a regular.
Just do neutral T-Tar. Yeah.
Okay, so regular T-Tar right there is 81, so we can give ourselves our Ivies back, and then like let's just give ourselves our stuff back. Hey, we underspeed that at nothing. There you go. Look at that. Perfect.
Perfect.
Yo, like what? Oh my gosh.
To be.
I mean, I guess Jirachi's not putting anything in any speed, right? So yeah, we'll get that done when we get it done, but it's 0, right? And then this thing, we were talking about scarfing it, right? But we're also talking about using a Dragon Fang. And you still think Scarf? Like I think Scarf is probably just.
I think so. Yeah. With how we're playing the lead, being able to just come in and guarantee outspeed stuff.
Yeah,
after we've given their board.
Yeah, and I think one thing worth talking about here is we're talking about like how to not lose to T-Tar Extra, how to not lose to this, and I think what we're doing is disrespecting like the Keldio's ability to be scarfed, the Salamence's ability to be scarfed, the Extra's ability to be scarfed, right?
Yes.
Because if they lead like Tailwind Scarfmon, we're sad. And that's why I'm trying to go like neutral-ish natures with like some of my other guys into like Exegol and T-Tar, just because neutral Terras. Just because like I want to be able to lock those things out. Let's see. So yeah, I think that Scarf is safe. Because we just need to do like 30 or 40% with like, I don't know, like a Hyper Voice or like an Earthquake or a Dazzling Gleam, and then Helping Hand, just Dragon Energy pops it. So we got Dragon Energy here. Still want the Draco. Obviously we're gonna have Earth Power. What's another good move this guy gets? Let's see.
I'm trying to decide, is it worth a Terra Blast?
I thought I
Terra
was gonna double dip.
scenario
I
or
was
just
gonna double
double
dip
dip
dragon.
dragon?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
gonna do that. Unless like I was flying Terra, but like I don't think you need that. I usually go hyper beam here, but there might be a better way to play it. Breaking swipe.
Doesn't it get
Might,
ancient power?
it
Is
gets
that worth it
ancient,
for
but I
the
don't think there's
Ogerpon
anything. Mm,
or the Volby? I don't know. Well, I mean, just dragon energy. Who are we kidding?
hmm. I'm
Maybe
thinking
Dragon
pulse
Pulse?
is pulse. Yeah, I think it's pulse is better. Yeah. Yep. There you go. Perfect. All right. So let's start getting
Just to
some
have
of
an option.
these EVs, right? And so I think I want to be able to be. I'd like to go timid to outspeed the like adamant Excadrill, right? So like Excadrill is like right here. Obviously, Excadrill outspeeds Regidrago. By a lot, right? So 88 versus 80, right? But if they're just like 252, and we're 252, but we go timid, like we don't need to OHKO everything, right? So we can do like
We can drop down to 141.
Yeah.
For Adamant Exca. Nice. I like that.
Yeah, just a little fix. And then from there, like you can split that up into like a 4 up there with like I think their team's mostly physical, so like that. And I don't think there's anything really wrong with that, right? I want the damage, right?
Yep. Yeah, we're just knocking stuff.
Cool. All right. Jirachi. We know we don't need anything there.
Nope.
So you obviously fill this one up. Again, their team is mostly physical, right? So I don't see a problem with like playing really heavy here. I don't think I really even want any, like I might throw there just not to waste the points, right? Or something, but like I don't think we really need anything there either. I don't know if we need any special coverage. I'm not afraid of Keldeo. I'm afraid of like
it's all
Ogerpon,
physical, I think.
Salamence, like it's all physical mons. This is that physical pivot that we said we wanted, so like I don't even think there's a problem with like that. Maybe like I don't know. I'm not
Maybe
gonna waste
run
the
a
points.
quick neutral Iron Head calc against a T-Tar.
Yeah, that's fair.
And just see what that looks like.
We're already up here. That looks like that does way too. Why does that do so much? Oh, he doesn't have any points yet. That's half, you know. Maybe
that's a 2-shot, so we're fine.
That's still a 3-shot if they're intimidated from Sally. Let's plug it in for Sally. How much is that going to take? I'll do it. Fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Easy.
Yeah.
It's not much investment, so and that still gives you
That's fine with me.
Plenty of
and we had
defense.
To be just special attack reduced. Cool. That works. I like that underspeeds the T-Tar by 1. That is so cool.
It worked out perfect.
Perfect. Gliscor, we want full HP. Again, I don't particularly like this fact that like this thing neutrally, like we take Keldeo neutral here, and I think this guy's probably going to be. I don't mind Water Terra here. I don't. I'm trying to think like what Terra do you think is good here though?
I think Water Terra is correct.
Yeah, we need some Terra that stops Keldeo. So Dragon is another one, and that's not bad into Ogerpon. So maybe Dragon.
Oh yeah, I could get behind Dragon or Water.
I think Dragon's probably a little bit better. And then like I honestly think that maybe we might need a little bit of attack here. But unintimidated, like Ice Fang did it. Maybe we just go full bulk though. I don't think we need anything significant. We'll run the calc versus T-Tar, right? Or Excadrill, Gliscor. So I'd like to get the high horsepower to be at like 90 to 100%, just to see like if we can. So for example, like right here, it's almost there against Excadrill. If we can get this up to right there, that kills Life Orb Excadrill, and it would still 2-shot Sash Excadrill, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So like that works for me, you know. And let's just see how much it does for his Tyranitar too. Oh, that's good. I have 2 builders open. That's why I keep losing my thing here. All right. Here we go. So T-Tar, that's half, you know, works for me, right? So that's still half if we go like over here. Maybe 60. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with what we had, you know? It's fine with me. I'm not going to put any more. And then I was looking at where I want some. Do I need any speed? I don't think I need speed in this matchup, like, at all.
I was just looking at that.
Should we put Tailwind on this guy? I don't think we need
Oh,
to.
you could.
That was my idea, was having
I
a
don't
second
think we need
Tailwind setter. Then I would have to cut the feint, which is totally fine.
Yeah, I'm down for it.
Yeah, that was like the point of him, was like a secondary Tailwind setter in case they brought like the ultimate Whims check, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then 115.
Well, and I was just looking at your top speed Mon on your team is a Weavile.
Yeah.
And that or if they're trying to outspeed Weavile and Tailwind, they're going to 98, and you just naturally are faster than 98.
Faster, yeah.
So I was like, yeah, you don't need any reason to go speed
I don't
on
need any
Gliscor.
Yeah, I think that we're fine to just like plus it, like just like that. I don't think there's a single problem with that. Right? I think we're good. These two Pokemon are very specific. This guy, you know how we do. I mean, it's never gonna change. And then like as far as the Terra, we were fighting. Not fighting. I feel like people are not gonna see this coming. So I think that's good. Cool. If I really wanted to, I could cut that up into a 4/4. I don't think it's important. Terrakion. All right, so we know Terrakion doesn't want to lose the speed tie to Keldeo, right? And I did all my calcs with this. So like that's yeah, I mean, sorry, like we're bad, but at the same time, like that gets the job done. And then Whims, like I want to run just a couple calcs with Whims.
Yeah, Whims is worth going
because I want to not get doubled up on by like a banded Rock Slide or like a Life Orb Rock Slide type thing. So plug it versus Tyranitar, because I might need to put like some in HP or defense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's totally like, even if you're Sash, that's totally fine on a support piece with this specific of a role. So
Rock Slide does half from the it's not banded. Let's give it a band, see what happens. 74 on the high roll banded T-Tar, and then Excadrill. And Excadrill Rock Slide. $74. So they can't KO if there's a band on the T-Tar and the Excadrill's just banded. They have to be orbed here. So like I'm fine with just being normal then. You know, like I'd like to have more damage here, right?
Yeah.
I know it looks like really basic. Our Terra here, that's a good question. I almost want to double dip Fairy.
They don't have any fake outs.
They have no fake out, right? Let's go dark just for the Volbeat.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Am I wrong?
Like that.
Like you just
in case you need to get around an Encore. That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. I think that looks good on paper. Thank you so much for helping me out with this. Is there anything? Let's talk about this last little thing. So don't lose our Excadrill. We have like a bunch of different lines that all start with Whimsicott Terrakion, and we can weave in Whimsicott Zoroark. Let's talk about like what that looks like too. Whimsicott Zoroark. So we got Whims Terrakion, we got Whims Zoroark, right? And then the mons that we would have in the back, we'd have to still have Terrakion, which means you could go Gliss or sorry, we'll go like parentheses Gliss or Jirachi, and then Turok, because you have to disguise as Terrakion, right?
And disguise as Turok.
And then don't lose to Follow Me TR. Now the thing that was good about this one was that I'm going to do that Gardevoir calc one more time, because I don't think it's sashed. So let's just plug in the Choice Band Terrakion, give ourselves a Ground Terra versus Gardevoir. Because I don't want to miss a Rock Slide either. You know, that's the thing that I'm like coming back down to.
Exactly.
That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. Like, all right, so how many, like, I want to see, like, let's say they do live, like, how many points do they need to make that work? And they're probably going to go heavy defense versus our team, but at the same time, if we can do that much damage to them, you just come with Jirachi, right? And you flip it back, and then you close maybe Drag. Let's see.
Well, and, like, what I'm thinking is they probably are more worried about special on a couple things because of the Zorark Regidrago. So I'm like, they might even be trying to tech live a Shadow Ball, and because they try to do that, they just drop to an EQ.
I'm looking at that. Whimsicott, Terrakion, Jirachi, Regidrago. Flip the Terrakion, flip the thing back, and then you close Drago Wims. Like, because Wims should still be alive.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
My only worry in that line is maybe Gardevoir. Well, they're not doing any damage if they're living their EQ.
Well, no,
I just don't want Gardevoir to roll Regidrago.
it
and
wouldn't be
Terrakion.
possible. Yeah, so the way
Yeah.
it works is like Wims Terrakion, Helping Hand EQ. One thing we actually have to calc, we should calc this. This is so important. How much damage this dude, where everyone's probably like this far into the builder and not realizing like, why are you earthquaking? You have Whimsicott. Like, we're hitting our own Whimsicott, you know? Like, everyone knows this, but we need to see how much damage we actually take. All right, so we two-shot our Whims, which means there are arguments to be made for putting full attack on the Whims, or for full HP on the Whims.
That is not a bad idea.
It's
And
not.
It does get you out of some, what if they happen to be like double boosting items on T-Tar Exca, then we're fine.
I think this is, I don't think I need to do that though. I think I'm fine to kill my own Mons. I like that we have Flying Terror here in case we need it, and I don't mind like hitting all my other guys. Like the fact that Zork would still get a hit off before, and like the thing that I'm looking at is if you don't bring those Flying Mons, and you shouldn't be going Flying Terra, right? Terrakion should say no, right? So like you're gonna be bringing 4 grounded Mons, which means we go Earthquake everything. But let's just talk a little bit about that one line, this one, right? So if they lead Ogerpon Guard, they go Follow Me, TR. The Ogerpon's dead. The Guard is at about 10 to 15%, right? You send out Jirachi. You could either Encore the Guard immediately, or you could just Trick-Room it back. I think you should always Encore the Guard and click the EQ.
I agree.
Yeah, because like if they pivot, everything's still dead, right?
Yep.
And then I guess you close with Drago, and then they could bring in the Guard, but then like the Guard's at 10%, and if it has no damage, you just kill it with Earth Power. And Terrakion's still alive.
Yeah,
he's still like a full HP like ground Terrakion killing everything, right? So that's like my thoughts here. Maybe it might be worth it to bring Gliscor sometimes. So let's put parentheses Gliscor, instead of the Drago, right?
Yeah, just in case.
Yep. So you just got to make the like slight adjustments that it could be. And then
if he's like really leaning into Salamence and neutralizing your Regidrago, maybe Gliscor's the right guy.
I think there's a good chance they're going to be bringing Salamence with Fairy Terra. That's kind of where I'm looking as well.
Yeah.
And so like if that's the case, like we're just going to be regular like beat up Terrakion. And then they're probably like, oh, this is going to be a good calc. I want to run this. So Salamence. Let's give it a Fairy Terra. All right, so Terrakion would be... So I just want to see what like +3 looks like from the rock slide. I'm just curious. Like I want to see if like they live this. Like I want to see if we can kind of... So like they're probably thinking that they can do something like this to see like, well, I'll intimidate it so he's only +3. Do you see that? And then get up a Tailwind?
Yeah.
But like we're actually at +4. Because we have Choice Band. Right?
Right.
Yeah. No, it's more damage. I'm an idiot. Duh. Choice Band's first and then the +3 on top of it, right? So, yeah. Anyways, you see what I mean though? Like they're not going to be factoring in the Choice Band difference. So we should be fine. Let's talk a little bit about not losing to Volbeat. So Volbeat would be worst case scenario if they lead Volbeat and some sort of like Scarfmon, because we already know that we outspeed all of their other Mons. And Terrakion, like the worst case scenario, we're getting speed tied here. We outsped by Ogerpon, right? But Ogerpon,
they might do like a Volbeat Scarf Gardevoir.
What if they let Volbeat Ogerpon? If they lead Volbeat Ogerpon, they actually pop our Terrakion at their full speed.
That's good to know.
So we just know we lose that game 1. Maybe we just pivot out the Terrakion.
I think you pivoted into Regidrago, right? Because
I'd have to pivot in Drago.
That eats, and then you just Draco Meteor something.
Yeah, Draco Meteor the Ogerpon. And then we just play a little bit slower game because like the problem.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that would be whims to rock, pivot. All right.
Because assuming we have Drago Gliss in the back like normal, then Drago's a good pivot.
And then we need to think of the last mon to bring here. You can't bring Zoroark because you're doing too much pivoting. Jirachi is not. It's probably Gliscor here.
Yeah, I
Just
think
'cause
it's still Gliss.
It has the coverage, you know, to not like die to everything. Like it's not like it's not a weak mon, you know. Like these two things hit the problematic mons that would stop us from winning with this, right? And if like maybe if bring Zoroark if they have Keldeo, right? You know what I mean? Like if like for a game 2, you know.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. I think those are all lines that should be able to get us a win. I think they're not going to be respectful of the multipliers that we're bringing. They're going to think that they're fine into like beat up strats and like choice spec strats or whatever on the Zoroark, or maybe over here, but they're not going to be respectful of like choice band, helping hand choice band. I don't think that's like on the, or like scarf plus. I don't think helping hand is going to be a mechanic that I don't think that they are seasoned enough in VGC to grasp the outplay for, right? You know?
Well, and even if they're like studying, helping hand whims isn't a thing. Like it's not on
people
their
go
radar.
fake tiers. You know? Yeah. But like I like the helping hand. I think it's like really, really cool here. If they didn't have T-Tar, I would go fake tiers and just blow everything up with Drago. But yeah, this should be fine. Well, thank you again for helping me out here. I'll leave a link to your channel because you upload pretty regular YouTube videos that are much higher like quality levels of competition than mine are. Mine are just a bunch of meme stuff. I
appreciate it.
Yeah, you're like the me if I was very serious at things.
You if you were serious is a good way to describe myself.
So yeah, thank you so much for helping me out with this. Hopefully we win, but like I'm really happy even if we lose because I feel like this is me trying my best to like force my play style into this. You know, like I think I could win without going Banded Terrakion, but Banded Terrakion is so freaking cool. Someone has to do it.
I think that's what makes like the fact that you think of these things is what makes you you. Like I don't think of Banded Terrakion with helping hand whims.
Yeah,
and that's why this draft is so like specific to how you like to play the game and mess with people's heads.
I mean, they're coming at me with the Gen 5, like T-Tar Extra Sally, like, and Keldio's Gen 5, yeah. I'm like, I'm hitting him with the Banded Terrakion, like, I was right there. Like, maybe they'll see it coming. That was a good set back in the day. So yeah, thank you so much for helping out, and wish me luck this week. Peace out, everybody.